the Transition Award. When you combine a hard worker, a genuine person, a friendly personality, and a great sense of humor, you get the recipient of this year's Transition Award and our other class valedictorian. Over the past week, many teachers have asked about our valedictorians, and as soon as I mention this student's name, every single teacher smiles and agrees that he will best represent us in high school, proving also that he has always had as much integrity as he has shown this year. This student is a true leader, and we can all say that we are better for having known him. It is a great privilege to give the Transition Award to the one and only Gervais.
After 8 years of elementary school, we are not just taking home certificates, awards, and diplomas, but also many lifelong memories and friendships.
Tonight, we would like to lead our fellow graduates on a little trip down memory lane. We are, after all, the first class to complete the early immersion program. Tonight is a special time for reminiscing about the great times we've shared together at St. John's French Immersion.
We began to build foundations of our success during the primary years. Those were the days when we were so excited for the simple things in life, such as Buster the Bus presentations. The days when we were actually willing to participate in a Mexican hat dance, although we did get a standing ovation at Dance Fest for that performance.
We also learned how to work and study. We learned how to get ready for stressful tests such as EQAO. There are skills that prepared us for what we would face in the junior and intermediate years.
We wonder if our high school teachers will take us outside and play soccer or baseball the way that Monsieur M did at the end of each EQAO exam session.
We also had some tough lessons to learn during our first few years at St. John. Madame Habib would not let us out of grade 1 until we learned to say "J'ai fini" as opposed to "Je suis fini," which some of us still haven't clued into. We have to admit that we have also taught our teachers some important life lessons too. In grade 2, Sebastian made sure that the staff understood that when one of us has to go, we really have to go. But MRT's grade 2 class has still not forgotten about Sebastian's unfortunate accident in his pants.
During our study of rocks and minerals at UWO, we can recall forcing Madame Volstick to jump off the 1-meter diving board, only to hear her let out an ear-piercing scream that we wouldn't have thought possible.
We've always been very in tune with our teachers. At the end of grade 5, Madame Bikenko tried to make a big announcement, but she barely got out the words, "I have some news," when Sebastian blurted out, "You're pregnant!" And he was right.
Our grade 6 teachers helped us to widen our horizons in so many ways. For example, Madame Cameron brought us our first class pet, Theodore, and then later on, Ifish. And Madame Chung's class never complained about having nothing to do because they constantly had maths to complete.
By the end of grade 6, we had become much wiser on various levels. We had mastered the art of playing practical jokes on one another.
When the school introduced a new safety measure called Code Red, we took full advantage. During a drill, we responsibly reported to the nearest classroom, locked the doors, shut the windows, and stayed low to avoid potential danger.
However, we showed no mercy for our fellow classmates who were in the washroom at the time. When they returned, we refused to let them into the room until we heard the keywords Code Green. When that moment finally came, we opened the classroom door for a very emotional and teary-eyed Marcus and Sebastian.
By the time we started grade 7, we were intermediates. We were bigger, smarter, and much more mature. dressed in our best, we smelled great thanks to excessive use of perfume and cologne, and we had listened to Madame Saint-Laurent's lecture about keeping the Holy Spirit between us.
As soon as the dance started, we realized we weren't quite as cool as we thought. We could still feel the awkwardness that hit the air when the boys hung out in one corner of the gym, and the girls on the opposite side.
Madame Pimentel showed us her moves that day, and taught us what an intermediate dance is all about. After the dance, Madame Saint-Laurent and Madame Pimentel knew they had a lot of work to do to prepare us for grade 8.
At the end of grade 7, we were ready to head to Canada's Wonderland for a full day of eating junk food, going on rides, and winning huge teddy bear prizes that needed their own seat on the bus coming back.
Finally, we started grade 8. On the first day of school, we were so excited because we are now the oldest, the wisest, and unquestionably the coolest.
And it only got better and better as the year went on. We became smarter, more confident, and of course taller. Well, some of us at least. Our teachers insisted that we work hard in preparation for high school. Poor Greg spent the whole year trying to prove just how productive he could be.
Although he did suffer a minor setback one day when he had to answer for an assignment that wasn't at school, and he used the fact that he had recently started sleeping in the basement as an excuse.
Even in grade 8, we still enjoyed playing practical jokes on one another. We'd all make fools of us all by coming back from France sounding like a true francophone.
We all decided in grade 8 that it was time to step it up a notch, though. We were now ready to play practical jokes on our teachers, too. The boys' basketball team even pulled one over on the supply teacher by convincing him that it would be a good idea to coach our boys' basketball team. Poor Mr. Babcock.
Madame Merrill was a true victim of Jacob's idea of a practical joke. He brought his purple morph suit to school and put it on when she wasn't looking. When she turned around, there was a purple silhouette sitting in his chair, and she completely freaked out as he scared her half to death.
Madame Merrill eventually forgave Jacob, and one day she decided to work with him again and help him with an essay. Jacob, like so many of us, was getting sick and tired of coming up with an essay topic. So he actually decided to write a whole composition about punctuation.
Madame Merrill was quite proud of herself when she came up with the thesis statement, "Life without punctuation would be one long sentence." She laughed hysterically at herself for days. And Jacob, well, he decided to seek input from someone else.
In the meantime, there was never a dull moment in Madame Furtado's either. Madame Merrill and Madame Furtado constantly sent notes back and forth to each other through us. By the end of the year, we called both portables home.
Whenever we, the personal messengers, visited the other classroom, we always knew we would find the grade 8s hardly working in one corner of the room, while the grade 7s were working hard in the other. Of course, it became harder to deliver notes to that portable once Madame Silva took over, as we could never find her room because most of us are taller than she is.
Finally, our whole group came back together for an overnight trip to Niagara Falls. We were all mesmerized by the tightrope because the very next day, a crazy daredevil was going to walk across the falls. And we also became famous through a televised interview with a news reporter, which caught Madame Merrill yelling at us because we were too loud.
We were humbled by our attempt to make it through the haunted house on Clifton Hill. Some of us chickened out as soon as we walked through the door, and even though a select few actually walked through the entire house, the pictures proved that no one was quite as brave as we thought. Poor Martha was still visibly shaking when we got back on the bus.
The second day of the trip consisted of water park fun and relaxation. We made excellent views of the lazy river at Great Wolf Lodge because we did not get a whole lot of sleep the night before.
Before we settled into our rooms for the night, we hit the arcade in style, wearing our pajamas. We played games and competed with each other, experiencing the exciting nightlife at Great Wolf Lodge.
Once we headed back upstairs, we couldn't resist the temptation to call each other's rooms, and we couldn't go to sleep anyways until we devoured all the pot, chips, and candy we bought at Roadworld's on the way there.
Madame Merrill and Madame Saint-Laurent got a little more sleep than we did, so they were ready to go on Friday. At one point, they actually got a little rowdy. and engaged in a battle using inflatable, bright pink bats as the weapons. Thankfully, the boys intervened and confiscated the plastic bats, and Mr. Gervais, well, we were happy he was there to record the whole event on his phone.
By the end of the day, we were tired and ready to go home and recover. It sure was a lot quieter on the bus ride home.
Now, here we are, diplomas in our hands and memories to take with us. We still have some celebrating to do before we go. We look forward to our grad dance this weekend. And of course, we are getting ready to engage in the water fight with Madame Silva and Madame Yarrow next Tuesday.
Isn't it amazing how we came into the school as strangers and are now even as friends? We have sealed bonds between friends that will never be broken. And even though we lost a few classmates to school transfers, we also gained some new ones.
Life at St. John would not have been the same if Greg, Daryl, Deirdre, Lucy, Mackenzie, David, and Kevin hadn't joined our group.
As we end one huge chapter in our lives, a new one begins. We have a fresh blank page ahead of us. We are now challenged to pick up a pen and write our own stories. We must take advantage of each and every opportunity to fulfill our dreams.
As we transition to high school, we know that we have what it takes to make good decisions even in the most difficult situations. We must hang on to the values we've developed here at St. John. There is no better advice we can give than to quote great Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus.
Take chances, make mistakes, and get messy.
Because it's not where you start in life, but where you end up. Merci.